We're actually digging into a real-world case like that, an Acumatica upgrade that caused some, let's say, headaches.
Right. Specifically with existing customizations not playing nice after the update.
And we're looking at this through the lens of Mohammed Kalimash's experience. He's a software engineer who really knows Acumatica inside out, especially the customization side.
Yeah, reports, integrations, the whole deal. So our mission today really is to understand the specific problems, the compatibility issues that came up during that upgrade.
And crucially, how they were tackled. Right.
Exactly, how they smoothed out those bumps in the road.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What was the core issue after this Acumatica upgrade?
Well, the main problem was changes in the underlying Acumatica framework itself.
The framework. So
Yeah.
like the basic structure of the software.
Precisely. When that changes, sometimes the custom bits built on top don't quite fit anymore. Think of it like maybe new plumbing not matching the old fixtures in a house renovation.
Gotcha. So what did that look like in practice? What kind of problems actually popped up?
You started seeing warnings from Acumatica's internal checks, the accumulator warnings, things like new attributes being needed or old methods being, well, retired.
Okay, specific examples.
Sure, there were things like PX10N4 missing PX cache name attribute, so basically a label the system needs for data.
Right.
And others like PX1011 improper inheritance and extension, which points to how the customization code itself was structured, maybe not following the new best practices.
So internal system flags. But I imagine it didn't stop there. Did it affect connections outside Acumatica?
Absolutely. That was a
Right.
big one. Updates to the API contracts, the rules for how Acumatica talks to other systems.
Like an online store, WooCommerce or Shopify maybe?
Exactly. If those API rules change, the connection can just break. Data stops flowing.
Ouch. And the impact on the business then?
Well, downtime. Customers face disruptions because fixing these compatibility issues wasn't instant. Operations got held up, which obviously led to complaints and frustration.
Okay, a clear problem statement. So how did Mohammed and the team approach fixing all this? What were the steps?
First step was identification. Really pore over the release notes, the documentation, understand exactly what changed in the framework, like studying the new blueprints.
Makes sense. Then tackling those warnings.
Right. For that PX cache name thing, the fix was often adding the required attribute, basically giving the system the label it needed. For the improper inheritance, like PX1011, sometimes adding a simple word, sealed, to the code definition did the trick.
So pretty specific code adjustments like detective work.
Kinda, yeah. And for those broken external connections, the APIs,
How'd they fix those?
they had to modify the integration code itself, make sure it spoke the new language defined by the updated API contracts. You have to ensure that data flow for orders, inventory, all that vital stuff keeps running smoothly.
And this wasn't just developers in a room, right? Customers were involved.
Oh, definitely. Customer collaboration was key. They had customers test the updated customizations in their actual environments. That real-world feedback is invaluable for catching anything missed.
It sounds like a very systematic process. How did they actually find all these different issues initially?
It was a mix. Those accumulator warnings during the build process were a big flag.
Okay.
Then, customer testing feedback users reporting that specific workflows were broken after the upgrade. Also, analyzing the upgrade logs themselves could point to which customizations failed and why.
And just knowing what parts of the old framework were no longer supported.
Exactly. Reviewing those deprecated methods and attributes was crucial too.
So, summarizing the solution approach. Use the accumulator, update the code to match the framework, test the APIs, and get customer validation.
That's pretty much it. Prioritize the critical warnings, refactor code for long-term compliance, proactively validate integrations, and involve the end users.
And the payoff for the customer in the end, what was the impact?
The biggest win was a seamless transition. Minimal disruption post-upgrade because the issues were handled proactively.
Less firefighting later.
Right. Plus, clearer error handling meant less reliance on ongoing support. And maybe most importantly, the customizations are now more future-ready, more resilient to the next upgrade, saving time and cost down the line.
It really underlines that upgrades, especially with custom systems, aren't just a simple switch. There's real work involved in making it smooth.
You got it.
So if you're navigating these kinds of system integration or upgrade complexities and want to ensure a smoother process for your business,
Don't hesitate to seek out that kind of expertise.
and a great place to start would be reaching out to Tiana Solutions. They have the kind of experience we've been discussing and can really help businesses manage these challenges effectively. Today,